The day my life collapsed began with a single sentence that shattered everything I thought I was. My wife, Marielle, stood across from me in our kitchen, her eyes cold and distant, and said the words that still echo in my mind. "You're worthless. I'm taking the kids." Those 5 words hit harder than losing my job earlier that same morning. That morning, I'd walked into the factory where I'd worked for nearly a decade. No warning. No handshake that meant anything. Just a supervisor handing me a cardboard box filled with my things and saying the company was moving in a new direction. I'd given that place 10 years of my life, every ounce of strength I had, and they replaced me with silence. So when Marielle threw those words at me, it didn't just sting, it hollowed me out. I remember standing there, clutching my old lunch bag hand sewn by my mother, Leona, years ago. The walls around me blurred as my mind replayed every moment of our life together. Nolan's laughter, Tess's tiny drawings taped to the fridge, bedtime stories whispered in the dark. And then it all began slipping away just like that. When Marielle turned and said she was leaving, I didn't argue. I couldn't. My voice was gone. My chest was tight. I walked out the door because the air inside that house felt too heavy to breathe. Outside, the September evening was cool and sharp, like the world itself was reminding me I had nothing left. My thoughts spun in circles. Maybe she was right. Maybe I had failed them all. I walked without direction, my feet moving on autopilot through quiet streets until a faint yellow light in the distance caught my eye. It came from a small diner tucked between a pawn shop and a gas station, the kind of place most people drove past without noticing. I stepped inside. The warmth hit me like a blanket I didn't deserve. The smell of bacon grease and burnt coffee filled the air, comforting and familiar. A waitress with kind, tired eyes handed me a cup of coffee without asking. I stared into the dark liquid and saw a reflection I barely recognized, a man who looked twice his age, eyes empty, shoulders heavy with failure. For a long while, I just sat there, staring. I didn't drink the coffee. I didn't move. The world outside blurred, and all I could hear were Marielle's last words, "You're worthless. I'm taking the kids." That's when I heard the sound of a chair scraping against the floor. Someone sat across from me. I looked up and saw an old man, weathered face, calm eyes, clothes worn but neat. He studied me in silence for a few seconds before speaking. "You look..." His voice was steady, deep, and deliberate. I blinked, confused. "I think you've got the wrong person," I muttered. "Not wrong. You have his appeared 35 years ago." I didn't know what to say. His words hung between us like ghosts.